Well, hey guys, today I want to talk about molluscum. I'm going to explain what they are, why you get them, what they look like, and importantly, stay tuned to the end of the video. I'm going to be giving you my best tips and tricks to get rid of molluscum. If you're dealing with molluscum, I bet you're frustrated. They are the bump that keeps bumping. You get one, next thing you know, you got 10, 12, maybe even hundreds of them. While they are a pain to cope with, the good news is they are harmless. And in the vast majority of cases, they will go away eventually on their own. What are molluscum? Molluscum are little bumps that arise because a virus gets into the skin. They're almost like a wart, but entirely different virus, and they look a little bit different. Anyone can get molluscum, but they're a lot more common in young children, especially young children who have atopic dermatitis, aka eczema. People who have medical conditions where their immune system is lowered are also a lot more likely to develop molluscum, to acquire them, especially, for example, patients who have HIV and their immune system is down. How do you get molluscum? Well, molluscum are contagious, so you can get them from skin-on-skin contact with someone else who has molluscum bumps. So young children who play together and have more close contact, they can spread them to each other. They can also be spread through sexual intercourse because, again, skin-on-skin contact, you can get them. You also can get molluscum from touching something that someone else with molluscum touched, such as unwashed clothing, used washcloths. Once you have them, you can auto-inoculate yourself with more of them. Basically, if you scratch or pick at the bump, you could spread that virus to neighboring skin or to elsewhere on your body. For example, you may scratch one and then rub your eye, and next thing you know, you have a little molluscum pop up on your eyelid. What do molluscum look like? They're small bumps that are light pink to white in color. They're usually anywhere from 1 to 6 millimeters. They're very smooth. They have like a waxy appearance to them. And in the center, there's a little depression. We call that an umbilication, just like, your belly button. If you were to squeeze these, which I do not recommend you do, this white cheesy material will come out. Now, some people have a few, some people have 10 to 20, and some people have hundreds. Molluscum love a moist, humid environment because wherever you have like a buildup of sweat, moisture, skin-on-skin contact, well, that just creates a more favorable scenario for them to dance on over to a neighboring part of the skin and for you to get another one. So they're really common on the backs of the knees, where we have a lot of friction, often from like kneeling, under the arms, in the groin area. The bump typically appears anywhere from 2 to 8 weeks after you have come in contact with the virus. Because they favor moist, humid environments, if you live somewhere with a tropical climate, molluscum may be more of a problem for you. The good news is, provided you have an intact, healthy, working, functional immune system, or your child does in the case of for children, these actually will clear up on their own spontaneously with even no treatment in most cases. But here is the frustrating thing. It takes a long time for them to just exit the building, usually anywhere from 6 to 18 months, but sometimes it can take longer. I've had patients who it takes 3 to 4 or 5 years for all of the molluscum to go away, because what happens with molluscum is because they easily spread to other areas of your body, especially if you have an impaired skin barrier, dry skin, or you're scratching a lot of friction. Because of that, one will clear up, but you'll start to get more in the neighboring areas. Unfortunately, there's no good way to predict how long any one person's case of molluscum will take to resolve. But an important clue that they are on their way out, a sign that may alarm you, but hopefully this reassures you that you should be happy to see this, is they often get really inflamed, sometimes very itchy, because the immune system is coming in and basically trying to get rid of it. So it kind of causes rashiness, if you will, around the little bump. If you scratch, pick, squeeze with your hands, you can cause a secondary infection. Basically, you can introduce bacteria into the molluscum, so they become secondarily infected with bacteria from your hands. If left alone, they will resolve on their own and not leave a scar, but if you pick at them, they can scar. If you have a deeper skin tone, that also can cause them to change the color of your skin in that area temporarily, although it can take a long time for the pigment to go back to your normal background skin tone. Molluscum that erupt from scratching will typically be grouped in like a line. Not just scratching though, you also have to be careful of shaving, because if you have these in an area and you shave, well, the little micro nicks from the razor are going to introduce more molluscum in the neighboring skin. Very similar actually to the spread of warts, which, as a side note, I have a video similarly structured to this one all about how to get rid of warts. So I give lots of tips and tricks in that video. I will link it down below in the description box. So the information you probably clicked into this video to learn more about, because like I said, these are frustrating as heck to deal with. How do you get rid of them? Here's the thing. A lot of times, no treatment is needed and they will go away on their own. However, there are situations where we push more to treat patients with molluscum. For example, if it's a child or an adult with atopic dermatitis, we know that because of the impaired skin barrier, they're likely to just keep getting more and more. And there are treatments that we can do, which I'll explain in a moment, that help them go away a little bit faster. So that's a case to treat. Also, if you have molluscum in areas with a lot of friction, like in the skin folds, under the arms, in the groin area, it makes sense to treat those too to help them go away faster, because you're always going to have that repetitive friction that kind of favors more of them occurring in neighboring areas in that region. If a patient has an underlying weak immune system, in that case, we will also encourage treatment because we want to help them and help their immune system get rid of it. They need a little bit of help. We'll also treat these if they are just really bothersome. Like if they happen on the face and you keep getting more of them on your face, that can really be upsetting, obviously, to deal with. Something people see, kids at school will get teased. So yeah, for sure, we'll treat. But just understand that if you do nothing and you're otherwise healthy, or your child is otherwise healthy, in most cases they will go away without any treatment. It's just a long, arduous journey. So what treatments can be offered? You can kind of break treatments down into physical treatments that go in there and do something physical to the bumps to get them to go away faster. And then there are topical treatments, which are basically things that you put on the bumps to get them to go away faster. So physical treatments, we have a lot of tools in our tool belt. A laser called a pulse dye laser can attack the little blood vessels in the molluscum bump and help them to go away faster. Now, for people who have deeper skin tones, that might lead to a pigmentary alteration, hyper or hypopigmentation, so it might not be right for everyone. Not everyone has a pulse dye laser in their office, so that's another thing to keep in mind. Cryotherapy. Cryotherapy uses liquid nitrogen freezing spray to basically destroy the little bump, make it blister up and go away much faster. One technique that I personally do not like doing, especially in kids, because it's kind of traumatizing and it can definitely scar. It's called curettage. We have this tool called a curette, and basically go in and just pop the molluscum out. It can be very painful, uncomfortable. It will get rid of them, but again, it can scar. I don't like to do that technique, but it is an option. Then there are things that can be put on the bump. Salicylic acid, for example, helps to create a little bit of irritation just on the bump. Help the immune system say, why is the skin so irritated? Let's go in and survey. Oh, wait, there's a little virus here. Let's get rid of it. What can tretinoin not do? Well, one thing y'all probably know if you've ever used tretinoin is that it's often irritating in the beginning. Well, we can use that to our advantage when treating molluscum. So your dermatologist might prescribe you or your child some tretinoin, tell you to put it on the molluscum with a toothpick, cause an irritant reaction. And plus, tretinoin also can have some immunomodulatory properties that may be beneficial in clearing molluscum, and they can go away a lot faster. Then there is a new, as of 2024, like very recently, FDA approved gel for treating molluscum. It's called berdazimer. Basically causes a release of reactive oxygen species that is destructive to the viral life cycle and can help the bump go away faster. It's applied to the bumps only daily in a thin layer, and it can help them go away faster. This is cool that we have a newer therapy, but to what extent it's going to be any more effective than the things that we already have and use, only time will tell. And the elephant in the room whenever there is a new pharmaceutical is like, Will insurance even cover this? Is it going to be cost prohibitive? In which case, we'll stick to what we've been doing for, decades and decades. And for me, a treatment that I know can be very beneficial, that I like and find helpful, it's applied in the office, and it's called cantharidin, beetle juice. It's this little liquid that comes from, well, beetles, blistering beetles. It causes a blister. Put it just on the little molluscum spot. Patient goes home. After a certain period of time, they wash it off with soap and water. And about a day or so later, they'll develop a little blister there. The blister will kind of crust up, flake off, and that helps the molluscum go away. All the treatments that I've mentioned here, though, trust me when I say there's no one that's superior to the other. Like, if you were to ask me, like, which of these is the best, I mean, there's really no comparing any one to the other. Some of them are going to be more appropriate for certain locations. Now, a big word of caution. Do not buy or try anything that you see in the store, that you see on Amazon or any other website retailer claiming to be an at-home molluscum treatment. The FDA has actually cracked down on these because there is no approved over-the-counter molluscum treatment, and these things can potentially be irritating, cause scarring, all sorts of problems. So just stick to treatments that are prescribed to you by your dermatologist, offered in office. In the case of molluscum, it's better to do nothing than to try one of these things that's not approved. It could potentially be very harmful because, again, while it takes a long time, eventually these do go away. Now let's get into the part of the video where I tell you things that actually are going to probably make the most difference for the course of your molluscum, or in the case of your child, for example. These are things that you don't want to do, and these are things that will help to prevent you from spreading them, from getting more of them. Molluscum very easily spread in a bathtub, a hot tub, swimming pools. So if you have young children, don't bathe them together if one has molluscum. Otherwise, they can pass it to each other. Don't have your children share bath toys either, because again, the molluscum can be spread from objects that have come in contact with the molluscum. Don't sleep together. So if you have children, don't have them sleep in the same bed. If you have a case of this and you cohabitate with somebody you normally sleep with, don't, maybe have them sleep on the couch or vice versa. Don't share beds because the close contact, the sheets can spread molluscum. Keep the bumps clean. Anytime you touch the bump, make sure you wash your hands with soapy water. That way you don't spread it to neighboring skin. Encourage your child to frequently wash their hands as well. Not only will this cut down on the risk of you spreading it, but also keeps your hand clean. That way you don't inadvertently end up getting a secondary bacterial infection from stuff on your hands coming in contact with the bumps. When you shower, bathe, or your child showers or bathes, you're actually going to want to use 2 towels to dry off. One you're going to use to dry the area where you have molluscum, and the other you're going to use to dry the rest of your body. Or you can do like I do and just air dry. That's another option. But the reason you want to do this is because if you dry the area with the molluscum and use that same towel to dry other body surfaces, you will spread the molluscum around. It may be obvious at this point, but try your very best not to scratch, not to pick. You also don't want to shave over the bumps. Again, that can spread them to neighboring skin. Likewise, do not get electrolysis, which is a type of hair removal approach I talk about in my videos on how to remove unwanted hair. But you don't want to do electrolysis in the area of molluscum. It definitely can spread it to the neighboring skin. You don't want to do any kind of waxing, threading either, because you can spread the molluscum virus. Moisturize, moisturize, moisturize. I cannot emphasize this enough, especially if you or your child has atopic dermatitis. I mean, moisturizers outside of molluscum, moisturizer is a mainstay for controlling atopic dermatitis. But the reason moisturizer is so important here is that you want to keep your skin hydrated. You don't want your skin to get dry. If it gets dry, it'll get cracked. Molluscum is more likely to get spread into neighboring areas of the skin. So what I like to tell people to do is to get a Q-tip and put, wait for it, what product do I mention like in 99% of my videos? Plain petroleum jelly. Just get a little plain petroleum jelly and actually draw a little circle around the molluscum to kind of prevent that virus from getting outside of that bump. That can definitely help, but also you want to be moisturizing consistently. When you apply moisturizer, make sure you wash your hands after you apply moisturizer in the affected area, or to your child, for example. You want to wash your hands afterwards as well. Not scratching or not picking, that can be very difficult. One strategy is to cover the molluscum with a bandage. I also strongly encourage you to cover molluscum with a bandage if you are participating in any kind of contact sport. If you do need to get in the water, definitely use a waterproof bandage to cover the molluscum so that you don't end up spreading it to someone else in the pool. For people doing sport where there's close contact, make sure you're not sharing equipment like helmets or knee pads. Don't share any personal items like razors, towels, without washing the towel first. And if you have molluscum in the genital area, you want to stay away from sex until they have cleared up. Molluscum remain contagious until all of the bumps have gone away. So it takes patience, but eventually, with time, they do go away, provided you don't have an underlying medical condition that weakens your immune system. If you do have an underlying medical condition that weakens your immune system, treatment with any of the methods that I mentioned definitely is something that your dermatologist is going to pursue with you. But again, make sure you're seeing your derm and doing what they recommend as far as treatment. Don't try and DIY your own molluscum removal. Don't try and pick them out. And don't try any alleged molluscum cream treatment that you might buy online or on Amazon or something, because it can cause more problems, cause them to spread, make it more of an issue for you in the long run. Well, hopefully the tips I gave in this video not only help give you some understanding of what treatment options there are available out there that your dermatologist might offer you, but also gives you some practical real life tips to prevent you from spreading these to other areas of your body or to other people. That about wraps up what I wanted to talk about for today's video. I really hope it was helpful to you. On the end slate, I'm actually going to link that video about how to get rid of warts fast. Lots of tips and tricks in that video if you think you might be dealing with a wart. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.